note to self, don't fall asleep on your neck funny. It's really painful. So here is the start of a new day, and I might get some work done later, who knows. Every time I sit and try and do work I fall asleep, which is not really a good look. But the weather's cooled down, at least around here, and although I don't think it's looking like rain so much now, so that's always a good start. And I look very yellow on this picture. Look like I need a liver function test or something. Oh, that's better. But yeah. So we shall see what the day brings. Hi guys, so I'm feeling a little organisational this evening because I feel better, so I thought I would rearrange my emergency bag / if I have to go to hospital or stay overnight somewhere as an emergency, mostly clinic, or in A&E or something if I get ill, because I have only got my dad. Years of doing random trips to hospital unexpectedly has taught me that keeping emergency supplies in one bag is quite a good idea. And I recently went on a bit of a family trip to Devon, where I converted the hospital bag into a going away for a few days to Devon bag, and now I have to sort of put it all back again. So I thought you might like to see my organisational sort of tidy up situation. And I've also had some shelves delivered today from Amazon, so you can have some fun tomorrow putting those up, and if they work well we'll have another set for the bedroom, which I'm looking forward to, because medical supplies are taking over far too much, and I need to get the house looking like a house again and not like some sort of half-baked episode of Hoarders. So here we go. I'm going to attempt to do some organisation now. So this is the bag I use. Usually this will accommodate me usually for about if I'm in for about a week, this is alright. 3 days to a week I can usually cope with if I don't have too many crises, and sometimes I wear hospital gowns if there's no other way, and if I'm really ill it's easier anyway, because they aren't the most fashionable things in the world, but they kind of get the job done. And when I had my bowel resection, I lived in them when I was very ill, because it was just simpler, and it was easier for Dad because it was a very bad winter and I was sometimes stuck in there without visitors, and sometimes he'd be at work and things, so that was easier. But I like to wear my own things in the hospital like everybody, when it makes you feel a bit sort of better. So this is my crisis bag. The bag itself, I don't know who it's made by actually. Antler apparently is the maker of the bag, and this I actually got from the local charity shop, very wheelchair accessible shop in my local town of Tunstall, and it's the Bernardo's charity shop. I go in there a lot because it's all one level and is, I have to say, completely fantastic. So anyway, I'm going to hopefully, I think I'll stick the bag. I've got my table here which I've got my studying on. But I'll try and table on wheels. I should have put the books on wheel then. This table was absolutely the the most fantastic Christmas present my dad has ever bought, or one of, because it's exactly like the ones you get in the hospital, and it sort of rises up and goes down, and it's absolutely fantastic. I just wish I could keep it over the bed at the same time as my wheelchair, but unfortunately we haven't found a way of doing that yet. But I have to show you something that I don't necessarily keep in the bag, but I did find very useful on my very long 6-week hospital admission once. And this is it's a mobile phone stand from Amazon, this one was in particular, and I found it absolutely amazing because you could stand your phone on it, and if you were watching YouTube or Netflix, which I watched a lot of in my last big admission, I think I watched about 5 series of Forensic Files and several other things on Netflix and vlogs on YouTube and things, and I like to use this stand because it was just easier than trying to prop your phone up on jugs and various other things that you find in the hospital. So if you know you're going to be in the hospital for a sort of extended period, and particularly in UK hospitals because the access to television isn't fantastic, I would recommend you take one of these stands for either your iPad or your iPhone, and remember that you can usually pay for access to the hospital's Wi-Fi, and I think at the moment in coronavirus it might be free access, but you used to be, I think it was about £3 a day, or it might have been sort of £10 for a month in the end, because Dad bought it for me in the end, and he had the longer package after I'd been in for a while because it was easier and cheaper in the end, and it was well worth it, I have to say. So this stand was fantastic, and I've got another one as well that I keep around for emergencies, but this is my favourite one because it's non-stick at the bottom and doesn't move about. So that's just my one piece of equipment that I thought I would lend. So got several undergarments here. I think we need to downsize. Take everything and put it on the table here, and then we're going to have some mass organisation as to what is going back in here, because within the next few months I should be having a fairly extended hospital admission, quite a distance away from home, so I'm into a suitcase and probably another suitcase as well. I'll just go through the essentials and things that I wouldn't forget. Particularly headphones. I love these headphones. They were actually from a local discount shop called Home Bargains, and they were about £6 a few years ago from there, and they fold up like the more expensive Beat headphones, and then you just snap them, and they're quite comfortable because they're over your ears, and I do love a bit of an over ear headphone. If you're going to wear them for a long period, that's quite good. And because the hospital have a history of losing my headphones, well, earbuds, I had a set of Apple ones that they wouldn't sent to the wash, so that was £30 down the drain. It was my own silly fault in a way. They were white, and I hadn't noticed they were on the bed, so there wasn't much to be done. But I've got the little Apple adapter, which is an essential thing, and you can charge through this as well, which is good. This was another, I think I got this from eBay, but there's a myriad of these adapters you can get now that Apple, for some insane reason, decided not to use the jack plug, which I think was about the worst decision they ever made. So anyway, now I'm going to put you on a time lapse, and you can see me reorganising my emergency bag. Try not to run over your possessions. Basic packing is done, because the next admission that's planned for me is going to be, we think, a fairly lengthy one. I've tried to get at least a week's supplies into this bag, which is actually easier than you think, because this time I'm not taking so many sets of pyjamas or track pants or anything. I'm going to take more night dresses, because having hip surgery, you don't really, from memory, which is fairly vivid in a painful kind of way, last time I had it, you don't want anybody going near your leg, so you won't want somebody putting pyjama pants on you post-surgery, or not like within the immediate few days post-surgery at least. So my aunt bought me a few night dresses, so they're going to be, I think, a staple for a while, and also the gowns like I mentioned before. So about the basic packing for that is done, so whenever I get the call, I should be more or less ready to go. We have, of course, along with the basic things, we have, of course, the toiletries here, which is just the basic bag I keep, and I have what have I got in here? Small shampoo, conditioner, of course, toothbrush, which I'm going to put a new one in, and one of my favourite things, although now my hair is a bit longer and slightly wilder, excuse the hair in it, it might be a bit small to use, but it's good for just emergencies. It's a brush, sorry, and it folds up. I don't know if you can see it here. You just pop it open, and it's got a mirror in it as well, and then the actual brush part pops open. And because at the time when I was going in for my when I was going into hospital a lot, I wanted to be able to fit as many cleaning products or as many like washing products in as I could. I've got body wash here and like shampoo and some deodorant. And when I go to my dentist, they have these trial size toothpaste that I always manage to try and snag a few of, so that's always useful. And I've got some small pack of wipes here as well, which are also useful. And the hospital carries like essential cleaning things if you get stuck. So that should be more or less good to go. So we'll put that in here. And of course, no preparation for emergencies would be complete without the electronics. And in my electronics pouch we have, this is a charger. I think it can actually charge solarly as well. I think it might have a solar charging ability, but you can actually charge it up. It's like an external battery, and sometimes when I've been in hospital it's been hard to find staff who can plug the chargers into the wall for me, so I tend to charge this power bank up before we go in, and at least I've got enough power for emergencies like phoning family and such. So to be fair, the hospital where I'm going next hopefully is because it's a orthopaedic specialist hospital, they've got more staff than average, so sometimes it's better at having staff that will stop and plug things in for you at the wall, so that would be good. Got various charging cables that fit into this for the electronics, so I keep everything in this pouch so that I'm theoretically not sort of scrabbling around looking for it. So and then I've got my archive memory bank of all my college and university work that I usually carry with me in case I get bored. I've got another pair of earbud sort of different size earbud things for if I need them, like spare ones if the rubber bits fall off, which is quite useful. Because I've got earbuds that I keep in my handbag as well. So that's my little electronic store and my big overhead earphones that I keep. And this is quite a smart plug because it can be both an American plug or a UK plug, so I'm quite pleased about that. It's a Sony one, and this is an Apple charger. I don't like these leads very much because they're like a magnetic charger and they're supposed to stop the wire breaking, but they aren't in actuality that good, so I won't be having these again, but you know, you have to try these things out, and they're good for emergencies, and I've got lots of spare ones hanging around, and you can never have too many chargers, can you? So this is mostly my random other electronics with my sometimes I take a Kindle in, mostly because Kindles are cheaper to replace than an iPad, and they tend to be less stealable, or at least that's what I've found so far. But if I'm in for a very long period of time, I tend to weaken and get my dad to bring in the iPad, because although Kindles are brilliant for reading books, they aren't, I've found, as good for watching things and doing videos and that kind of thing on. But I've always got my So that's always alright, but I'll put my little pouch in here. I think we're getting a bit close to capacity, so I might have to crack open the roller case as well. But we should at least be okay for basic eventualities. I'll just put my in here, sorry. And of course it wouldn't be me if I didn't have, of course, this is a little well, it's a pencil case, and I've just found my pouches of green tea for an emergency. See, in the UK NHS hospitals, you have usually tea, coffee in the day. You have tea at breakfast time. You get one at mid-morning, then one in the afternoon, a cup at tea time, and then a well, sort of, or your evening meal, I should say. I would say tea time because I'm a northerner, but if you're down south of this country, you would say dinner, and most other parts of the world would say dinner. That's about sort of 5-6 o'clock-ish. Then you get sort of bedtime drink about 8:30, and that tends to be tea or some sort of milky drink. And you get a snack with your mid-afternoon drink as well, but it's usually your basic tea and coffee and things. And if you fancy something different, like green tea, they don't tend to carry things like that, so I take a selection in with me. Sometimes, occasionally, staff, if they have the time, which isn't that often these days, but they will make you a drink sometimes if you ask. And on some wards, to be fair, you do have facilities depending on what the ward is. Sorry, excuse the bag here, guys. Depending on what the ward is, you sometimes have patient sort of tea making facilities, but on acute wards that's more rare. So now you've seen my hospital planning bag, so hope you found that sort of an interesting glimpse into what I take with me in the hospital. So see you in the next clip. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and the little bit of a pack and organise with me. I will see you in my next one. Okay, bye.